Hello, 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 good afternoon. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life, like I did. For those of you who are kind of regulars here, I usually do my live streams on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I had scheduled that, and then I needed to keep changing the time. My husband returned, from his month-long stay, and he stayed an extra 2 weeks after I returned from Colombia, South America. So he returned this morning, and everything was great, but the last leg of his flight, which is a very short leg, kept getting delayed. So he was supposed to disembark at 8:30 a.m. He finally we It was not until after 12. So he's upstairs asleep right now because he's been either in an airport or on an airplane for just about 24 hours. I'm a little bit tired myself, got to tell you. I woke up at 2:15 this morning and I've been awake ever since. So thank you very much for your patience, those of you who hung in there with me. Um, so let me say hey to some folks because I really do. Hey, hey, happy ferret. Do you have a ferret or is it a fable like thing? Is the ferret a fable like creature for you? Doris Komisarek, good afternoon, friends. And Connie Clayton, good afternoon, all. Wave, wave. Hi, Scott. Our weekly video Bible study. Can see and hear you. Thank you very much. And oh, goodness, glad he made it home. So am I. And by the way, thank you to a couple of my patrons. I'd had a microphone situation. So hopefully this sounds better than the lav microphone I've been using on my snippets and probably for last week's live stream. So I was able to put my Blue Yeti back together. Today's topic, as the thumbnail reads, don't stop. You're so close. Now, that might seem like a very presumptuous message. Some of you, I do know your stories, but most of you, I don't know your stories. And I don't know whether you're so close or not. I don't know whether you have never started and stopped before. But I can tell you that if you are anything like me, not just following the ketogenic protocol, making many changes in life, sometimes we get so close. And for some reason, we allow ourselves to be derailed. And when it comes to things like weight loss, I know that many of us have kind of milestones in our lives. And for example, getting into Wonderland for the uninitiated, that means you're no longer in the 200 pounds, but you're under 200. So you're in Wonderland, play on the ONE, Wonderland. In Germany, you're called an Uhu because it's in kilos and you get under 100 kilos and you're considered Uhu. And that's a big milestone. And some of us will get to 200.9 pounds after having lost however many 10, 30, 75, whatever, 200.9 pounds. And then we stop. Who knows why we self-sabotage? Who knows why we throw in the towel when it's something that we know works for us? And most of us, this is going to work. For the uninitiated, the ketogenic protocol, as I learned it and as I have practiced it for now 9 years and 11 months, no, 10 months and 3 weeks, something like that. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. Fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, limited amounts of full-fat dairy, neither of which are required. Don't eat if you're not hungry, the most challenging part. Stop eating when you've had enough, the second most challenging part. And then I've added, be patient and persevere. That's the protocol. For most of us, that will work. to burn fat for fuel. So we burn body fat. Keeping in mind, eating a whole bunch of fat will not work, no matter what some internet personalities tell you. It's not the presence of the fat, it's the absence of the carbs that works. So that's it. It will work for most of us, although some of us can be happy and healthy and fit and trim and beautiful and be vegetarian. You don't have to follow this, but for most of us, this will work. Why do we self-sabotage? Why do we stop doing something, give up on something? Let's not analyze that right now. Let's just stop doing it. And when we have crossed that threshold, whatever that might be, for some people, it's something as simple as I do fine during the week. Friday night comes, I give up. Because we always go out on Fridays and we go to our local, and I really like beer. And then, you can't have beer without beer nuts. Well, you can actually, technically, you can have, and you don't have to have beer. It might be, I have trouble on the weekends. I have difficulty making it through the weekends. For some people, it's longer. I do fine until vacation. I do fine until I get to 200.9 pounds. I do fine until I have a really bad day. It can be any one of those things. Let's not figure out now why we stop. Does it really matter? I mean, self-analysis is good. And I know I'm tripping over some of my words, but I'm pretty tired, to tell you the truth. I am pretty tired. But let's wait for the analysis until we actually succeed. Then we can say, maybe I wonder if I was doing this before. If I used to sabotage, why was it? And then you can figure it out or not. There are two quotes I want to share with you today. And I think they're apt. What a good, precise, short word. They are apt. One of them from the brilliant writer, director, and actor Orson Welles. Quote, if you want a happy ending, that depends, of course, on where you stop your story. Now, how brilliant is that? How many of us think we're not getting any happy endings? It's because we stopped our story too soon. Brilliant. And again, it doesn't just have to be about weight loss or coming off of medications. It can be about relationships. It can be about getting our house in order. It can be about financial security. If we stop too soon, we may not stop at the happy ending part. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. I can't tell you how tickled I am. Okay, you want to see a creature that does not worry about, not too much self-analysis going on? JACK right there in front of the fire. JACK is very happy, just soaking up the heat. Let's be like JACK. He has started to spell, though. It's just now he's kind of deaf, so he doesn't hear me spelling. So let's think about that. If we want to say, no, some people will tell us, oh, the diet doesn't work. Or if you haven't lost weight by age 45, you're never going to lose weight. If you haven't lost weight by menopause, it's not going to happen. It's impossible. Or you'll never keep it off. Well, you know what? Screw them. Excuse the potty mouth, but I am a little tired. People want to tell you what you can't do or it will never work. Well, it may be true for them. Maybe they would never be able to keep it up. Even our doctors, and some of them are obese. What did I just? Oh, hashtag Casey's pink drink. Tumbler full of ice, diet tonic water, splash of diet cranberry, squeeze of lime. I'm getting some lime pith. So let's, first of all, not listen to people who say what can't be done when our gut tells us, no pun intended, what can be done, that we can do it. And if we tell ourselves we can't, let's try not telling ourselves what we can't do. If I can do this, friends, you can do this. I promise you. You may not know my story, You can go to my blog and see some of my previous photographs, not even from my heaviest. Any photographs that are on that blog, link below, are probably about 20 or 25 pounds lower than my heaviest weight. I had been overweight and morbidly obese from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I tried it all. Summer of the triathlons, move more, eat less, the world's largest spreadsheet tracking everything. I had my MyFitnessPal food and macro tracking before there was an iPhone, before there were apps. I created the spreadsheet. It was a thing of beauty. Starting in December 18th, 2000. When I first went to the gym and got on one of those doctor scales and had to run out of the locker room crying from the weight. But I had given up on losing weight. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. My shift went from the cosmetic to the crucial. Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes, came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, who is, I'm proud to say, is a pal of mine now. I was never his patient, but we get along pretty well. And although I knew in 1977 that low carb, the Atkins induction period worked for me, I had about 12 pounds to lose in college. I did, threw away the book. Then I knew again in the early 2000s, lost, I don't remember how much, maybe 25 pounds. And that was off my heaviest. So, I had a lot left to lose. And then I let life come at me. I stopped my story before the happy ending that time. I had a problematic medical diagnosis, one of many I've had, and decided, well, I'm going to just a bagel would make me feel better, which led to more bagels, which led to tortilla chips, which led to mashed potatoes and tequila. And guess what? I still had cancer. Didn't fix anything. Because if hunger's not the problem, food is not the solution. I gave up. I stopped my story before the happy ending that time. This time, I don't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I haven't stopped my story yet. I'm pretty happy. I'm experiencing my happy ending. God willing, and the creek don't rise, I will go on to have another 30 years of happiness. My ending will be happy. So let's not stop our stories before the happy ending. Let's not. It's so hard, challenging to keep going when we get a little bit discouraged or the scale doesn't do what we think it should be doing. By the way, the scale should be like number 7 on the list of important things that are measure of our success. Do you feel better? Do you have decreased joint pain? Do you find that you don't need an afternoon nap? Have you realized, wait a minute, I haven't woken up in the middle of the night with acid reflux. Hey, I haven't needed my asthma inhaler. Hey, wait a minute. No IBS or ulcerative colitis symptoms. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Wait a minute, my clothes are fitting looser. My mood is regulated. All of those things are much more important than what the scale reads. It's health and happiness. And if you can wear cuter clothes at some point, great. Let's not stop just because the scale doesn't read what we think it should. Let's not buy into the terrible hype, the misleading, bad hype of keto foods. There aren't any. Foods are not ketogenic. Our bodies are ketogenic. Hat tip to my friend Amy Berger. If it says keto on the label, it's not. There are no keto brownies. There's no keto trail mix. There are no keto energy bars. There aren't. I'm unequivocal about this. Eat nice, whole, fatty sources of protein. What does that mean? Eat the fat that comes with the protein. Eat the eggs with the yolks. Eat the steak with the fat. Eat the pork chops with the fat. Eat the poultry with the skin. Eat the lamb. Eat fatty fish. oily fish. And if you want some non-starchy vegetables, limit that to about a cup a day of the non-starchy vegetables before they're cooked, and about 2 cups a day before cooked of leafy greens. Couple of ounces of full-fat dairy if you can tolerate it and if you like it, but not required. That's it. Keep doing this and it will work. It worked for me. I was fat, flatulent, in a pretty bad mood a lot of the time. I snored when I slept. I'm pretty sure I had sleep apnea. And I was depressed. I was a hot mess. If I can do this, you can do this. You do not need to buy one thing to be 100% successful at this. Not one, not a kit. You don't need to buy a food list. It's just fatty sources of protein and non-starchy vegetables and full-fat dairy in limited amounts. Boom. Don't eat if you're not hungry. There's certainly no keto supplements or special water that you need to buy or consume or special kits. That said, I will sell you things all day long, like a water bottle. You can see my spread shop link below. Shirts, caps, aprons. By the way, the calendars. I meant to do this last week. 2024 calendar, Go Keto with Casey calendar with photos. You see, Jack? And I enjoy putting these together every year. And I hope people find them inspirational. You know, like one of the sayings is from Confucius. Where is it? I can't see. I'm blinded by the light. It does not matter how slow you go as long as you do not stop. Boom. You can see this at my blog, and they're almost all gone. So go ahead and put in an order if you want one. And a green book. And now this green book on Amazon's Casey's 12-month journal, I put quotes throughout them along with mood trackers and daily diaries and stuff like that. But here's another one that ties into today's theme. Here's a quote. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison. That folds in pretty nicely to the theme. If you give up, you'll never know. So let's not give up. All right. Thank you. Oh, and I do want to say hello and thank you to patrons who are here. I have a private support group on patreon.com, link below, where depending on your pledge level, you get weekday morning snippets every weekday morning. I even did them when I was in Colombia. Topics usually suggested by patrons. Going up from there, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast. And up from there, a one-on-one session with me a month. Coaching. You can have a 7-day free trial at the middle tier level. If you like it, you stay. If you don't, you won't. And thank you so much for the support of patrons. It means more than you know. Now I'm going to turn my attention to your comments. I want to hear about you guys. So I am just going to jump in from what I can see. Happy Ferret writes, Connie Clayton, yes, live. Maybe you refreshed your screen. Okay, thank you. So someone must have been, oh, Jack looks so comfortable. I mean, look at that. It's like he has no bones in his body. Thanks for the constant encouragement, writes Greco family. And Dolores Drury, hi, Casey, I missed you. Well, thank you very much. I enjoy doing these. And it's interesting. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. Oh, apparently if you subscribe and do the thumbs up, it helps my channel. And there is, and that costs nothing. So that really does help me. Thank you for the hearts. Happy Ferret got my calendar today. So awesome. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad to know that. You know, I send these things out and who knows if they show up. So thank you for letting me know. I don't know what your actual name is. Do not share it. But a whole bunch have gone out. So thank you. Judy Tucker from Hopkinton, Iowa is the one that said Jack looks so comfortable. Judy, talk about someone who has not given up before the happy end, did not end her story before the happy ending. Has lost over 150 pounds. She's a farmer. She She was a farmer 150 pounds ago. For much of her adult life, she was over 150 pounds heavier than she is now. She did not start losing weight at age 25. I will let Judy share what she wants and talk about coming off of medications. Yikes. Keto sisters. Oh, cool. Thank you. Needed this so much. Starting getting back on track Monday. Excited about it. Of course, I'll say, why wait till Monday? There's nothing magical about Mondays. All that'll mean is by Monday, you'll have that much more carbs in your system, but do what works for you. Happy ferret. Been a ferret mom to various ferrets for more than 30 years. Ah, that is cool. Creative Soil. Keto sis. Why? Creative Soil writes, why Monday? Why wait? So when I started this, it was, I believe, a Wednesday. And I just was low. I was very low. I was sitting in my kitchen. It was not the first of a month. It was not the first of a week. It was not the first of the year. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. And the message hit home. I've said this in front of Dr. Westman many times. It always makes him blush because it was the white coat video that kind of got me going on this. And then I did, I did a lot more research and stuff, but I started immediately. And I've shared, I don't know whether it was his calm demeanor or his boyish good looks, but for some reason that day, that message landed with me. So the next time I ate, I laid off the carbs. I still had vegetables and stuff, and I ate a lot of food then because I was a lot bigger. Why wait? So that was mid-morning on a Wednesday, I believe. You can do it, Keto Sisters. Oh, the back pass Monday. All righty then. Thank you. Happy Ferret. I've been too heavy on the dairy recently, and I need to clean it up. Yeah, we have to find what works for us. And remember, dairy is not unlimited. Cheese, for many people, is a real bugaboo because it's kind of easy to overeat. And you can kind of throw it in sauces and have it on this. So that's one thing that I measure the heavy cream that we put in our coffee, and so does my husband. He measures it, and I do measure cheese. Pretty much everything else is kind of self-regulating. It's difficult to overeat boiled eggs. It's like 2 or 3 in a glass of water, and you're good to go. Creative Soil writes, LOL, I understand that. And Judy Tucker, Casey, could you share what you ate when you first started compared to what you eat today? People think I'm starving now. Okay, I'm going to do something here. I don't know what happens, and I don't want to offend people, but apparently ads are supposed to start right in the middle of this, but I'm going to say don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Yes. So under the idea, if it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Things that were on page 4. So my day might start out with a cheese omelet and breakfast link sausages. And then mid-morning, I might have, no, not mid-morning, midday, I might have a nice Angus burger. No bun, of course, with a slice of cheese. And maybe a little bit of sauteed onion on the side and some ranch dressing. Ranch dressing was really big for me at the time. And then mid-afternoon, I might have a crustless pizza, which is just a fancy way of saying shredded mozzarella, some couple of tablespoons of Rayo's marinara sauce, some pepperonis, maybe some sliced jalapenos, some shredded cheddar, some more shredded mozzarella under the broiler for about 90 seconds. And then I would just eat it. Then for dinner, I might have a steak with broccoli and butter and ranch dressing. And I mean like a full steak. What happened, it was fantastic. And I was losing weight. I thought, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Well, and it was. And then gradually, not slowly, gradually, but there was a trajectory where that just became too much food. So the first thing to go was the afternoon pizza. And the next thing to go might have been the Angus burger. And then the next thing, maybe no cheese, just some scrambled eggs for my so-called omelet. And then to the point where now, today, what have I eaten? And I'm perfectly fine. I'm moderately peckish right now, but it's been a long day. I've had about, I would say, 2 ounces of shredded rotisserie chicken breast from Costco. They're rotisserie chickens. They get it and package it. And then 2 slices of cheese. I make like little cheese and chicken tacos. I had 2 of those. That's it so far. That probably won't be all I have. I've got a steak thawing out for my husband, if he ever wakes up. He's been asleep a long time. And he and I now, between the 2 of us, will not finish a ribeye. It used to be we would each eat a 10 or 12-ounce ribeye. My husband portions them. He used to be a meat cutter. And we both eat one. And now I'll have the very little tippy end of a ribeye, and he'll have half of what's remaining after that. So much less. He eats less. I eat much less. But my main plate of fuel might be a couple of eggs with an ounce of cheddar cheese and a couple of strips of bacon, or maybe not bacon. It just depends. And then I'll have something kind of like that chicken rotisserie stuff. I mean, I'm not under eating. I'm very fit and strong. I just require less fuel. My stage of life and my stature and my body composition right now, which needs to be improved. My body composition needs to be improved. It's not because I'm overeating food or overeating fat. It's because I need to do resistance training. If you can imagine, I'll try to describe for you how I kind of feel over the last 2 or 3 months. I mean, the patrons will know I was actually hitting the resistance training pretty well. And then I just stopped. I stopped. I became not a failure because I'm not a failure, but I stopped for no good reason. So I feel like particularly my core, if you can imagine, back in the day when women wore whalebone corsets and they were laced into them, whatever happened to those women when they took the corsets off, right? So it's like, I feel like someone pulled the lace and I went, whoa. There's an old joke. Your mama's so fat, when she takes off her girdle, her feet disappear. I kind of feel like that, although my feet have not disappeared. And why is that always got to be your mama's so fat? See, your mama's so fat jokes kind of made me feel bad because I was a fat mama and I felt bad for my kids. I wondered if their little friends were saying, your mom is so fat. She ate the universe. Okay, let me back this up just a little bit. Heather Knowles writes, I am the same with dairy. I added back cream in my morning coffee and arthritis and knee returned, as did a lot of bloating and water retention. Ugh. Next, I will see what cheese does to me. See, we have to figure it out for ourselves. Very good. Thank you for sharing, Heather. And Dakshungal writes, I'm glad I don't stray from the low carb agenda because not eating when not hungry is challenging enough. No kidding. Keto Sisters, boiled eggs every day. I love them. And they're cheap and they are nutritionally packed and they are appetite suppressants. They even look like pills, like giant capsules. Happy Ferret writes, Heather Knowles, ouch, heavy cream is a tough one. Cheese has been my downfall recently. It's in everything this time of year. And Irene Ogilvy Wilson, I need a motivational kick to get me back on keto. I did well before. Sometimes we need a couple of at-bats. And to remember, oh yeah, that's why that's why I've been laying off the carbs. People who really have a bad reaction, so say they're doing very well, and some people it takes a little mini bag of pretzels and they eat that and arthritis and asthma inhaler and they bloat up. They feel lousy. I recommend when that happens, take a little video of yourself on your phone, password protected, don't let anyone else see it. And when you feel the urge to have another little bag of pretzels or whatever your thing might be, look at that video. And if you see yourself saying, oh, God, everything hurts. Why did I do this? Oh, my head hurts. I haven't had a migraine in 6 months and I've got a migraine. Maybe you'll pass on the little bag of pretzels. I'm stronger than a cookie. We are all stronger than cookies. We're stronger than pretzels. And they have no nutritional value. Heather Knowles writes, this is my second time around with keto, down 100 pounds of scale weight and have maintained muscle mass. Go keto. Wow. What an accomplishment. And Irene Ogilvy Wilson writes, thank you. Well, thank you guys. And again, I apologize for some of you may not have even noticed. I kept editing the time because seriously, honest and true, I could have gotten in my car, driven to the other city and gotten my husband back here, and we would have gotten back in just about the same time as waiting for that flight. But it was for weather. And my husband, who has been a general aviation pilot, pilots say is better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than being in the air wishing you were on the ground. So we will not fuss when the airline says the weather's not good enough. Judy Tucker writes, people just don't understand that your appetite just isn't the same. We are so satisfied finally. Never was before. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Judy. Yeah, people don't believe it because it's unbelievable. Doxengal writes, I think explaining how much you can eat when starting the protocol is a good thing to tell those thinking about doing keto because that truly is why this works. And Heather Knowles writes, thank you. See you next time. Well, thank you. Back at you. I very much appreciate you allowing me to be part of your day. And it's a privilege, honestly. Thank you for the hearts. And keep it real, y'all. And be sweet. Just don't eat sweets.